Afternoon. Welcome to the I Voted for Pedro Show. I'm Ted H6 of Ted Talks Ball. My esteemed colleague here is Pedro, and I've got the wrong brand up here. I've got the wrong overlay. Damn it. That's what happens when you rush. I was a little bit late. It's my fault today. I was eating some yummy birria tacos, and it put me behind a few minutes. So my apologies to everyone, especially to you, Pedro.
Oh, good, mate. All good. How are you, bud?
I'm doing better now. Obviously it's a victory Monday. That can't be all bad. And, I guess we'll go into what we thought about the game. I don't want to do any spoilers just yet, but just happy to be celebrating a win and looking forward to the show and the rest of the week and the rest of the season. So how are you doing today?
I'm very well. It's Tuesday down here. Beautiful day down here in Sydney. About 24 degrees, about 75 Fahrenheit. And very happy that we were back on track, back to our identity of being 49ers football. And I've read an article this morning, and I totally agree with that article. But we'll get into that. And I think there's a big reason why we were back on track. And I think it comes down to one guy. But anyway, we'll get into that. But very happy. We're 6-3, heading into the Bucs, and then we've got a bit of a stretch after that. But I think we're in a very good position.
There you go. Right on. One guy. So if I had to guess, that guy. Well, let's say hello to everyone who's here first. Let's say hello to our audience members. Got Red Jet Shell in the house. She says, good afternoon. All identity reclaiming win. 8 to go. Let's go Niners. Yeah, we had talked a lot in the last few weeks about the Niners losing their identity on both sides of the ball in the last 3 games. And they seem to have reclaimed their identity on both. With scoring above 30 again, Purdy for 30, 34 to be exact, and the defense holding the Jags to just a field goal was pretty incredible. Nancy Cameron in the house, saying Red Jet Child exactly. She says, hi, Nancy, I know, right?
Is that what that
do it if they all stay healthy. Yeah, I've kind of been saying that since the offseason that I said that we could win a Super Bowl with Jimmy if everyone stayed healthy. So with Purdy, I have a little more confidence in him. So I think we could have a little bit less injury luck and a little bit more Brock skill and still could get the job done. There's some talk. Pains me to say that there's talk again about Purdy being elite QB because I just never thought he was. I still don't. He might be getting close, but I don't know. I had him at 11 to 15 last time we talked, and good game, a very good game against the Jags. I'll bump him back up to 8 to 12 again, but not 6 to 9 where I was at the Cowboys, and that's still not elite to me. Because to me, elite is top 5. I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Elite quarterbacks in the fourth quarter, when they're behind, do what they need to do to get the win. Not always, but in general, that's what I believe is an elite quarterback. When we lost our first game this year to I can't remember when the guy missed the field goal, when Moody missed the field goal, he did get us in a position. He did that once, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Since then, the next 2 losses, he did not do what was required to get us down the field to win the game. So 1 out of 3, I don't think that makes him elite. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think yesterday that touchdown pass to Kittle had elite qualities in regard to his sense of timing, his courage to stand in the pocket, knowing that he was waiting for George to beat that backer. And he placed it in a really nice position. But the first pass of the game, the first touchdown pass of the game, I mean, that was very unacceptable. But other people are saying it was threading the needle. So I'm not a Brock hater at all. I love the guy. I really like him, and the reason I like him is not just because of the way he plays football. It's his character, the way he carries himself. He's a faith-based guy like I am, and so I think he's a very good quarterback, and I'm very happy that he's our quarterback. I must admit, watching yesterday, Ted, I was a little bit nervous in some of those, because of the interceptions that had happened in the weeks before. But once he got into his rhythm, I became more confident. But yeah, that first touchdown throw scared me a touch, but yeah, I wouldn't call him elite yet. He's got some elite qualities. As I said, 1 out of 3, just to bring this around and to circle it up. 1 out of 3 opportunities to get us the win coming from behind. He got us in the opportunity to win in the first game that we lost, but the kicker let him down. The next 2, he didn't do that. So,
yeah, no doubt about it. And he made a lot of mistakes in the Cleveland game before that drive, where it should never even have come down to that, you could say, for sure. Got the Joshua. Oh, yeah, Brian Culp in the house saying smash the like button, everybody. That reminds me, we are streaming on both channels.
yeah.
So, make sure if you're on TED Talks Ball, get over to Niners DNA. Give Pedro a like and subscribe. Same thing if you're on Niners DNA, pop over to me. Like and subscribe. Also, if you're watching on a browser, please open up 2 tabs and mute one. And you can watch both shows at once. Gets us more viewers. Thanks in advance for your help on that. In fact, I got to make sure to do that myself as well. Get at least one more view on both of our shows. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting after that throw because the announcers were all sort of saying, yeah, Brock's kind of a risk taker and he's kind of always been that way. And it kind of reminded me of the things they were saying after the play when he threw it to Ayuk and he got plastered in the wild card game. And they were basically saying, hey, hold on, buddy, we need you, like don't get yourself killed out there. And, it's a little bit different. One was putting the ball in harm's way. One was putting himself in harm's way, but it was the same type of lingo, the same type of things being said about Brock, which is he's a risk taker. And it's part of it is what we love about him. It's his poise. He keeps his eyes downfield and, stays focused, but at the same time, it can be scary and it can be, dangerous for him. And so both things can be true. And so, and same thing with throwing across the body in the end zone. He did it against the Jags. He did it twice against the Bengals, and all 3 times he didn't get burned by it. So you can bet your butt he's going to do it again. But one of these times it's going to cost, it'll end up being a pick 6 or a pick because, one of the biggest rules in football is never throw back across your body, especially if you don't have a cannon of an arm. And Brock does not have a cannon of an arm. But also just want to say hi to the Joshua. He says Trent Williams makes such a big difference. So good to have them back. Yeah, Trent Williams was huge. Chase Young was huge. Thank you, Redskins, for both. We got both players for 2/3 and a 5th. Incredible value. Also, the Redskins ate Chase Young's contract. So we got him, I think it was under 600K, but for sure under 700K for the 2023 season and no future money owed to him. And then we also have Raised Wiki up in the house. He says Debo makes the offense go. He makes the defense more vanilla, easier for Shannon to design mismatches and Brock to see them. Absolutely. Those 2 guys were huge. We didn't have them for 3 games. We lost 3 games. Or we had Trent for the Browns game, but he played hurt. But, essentially they were hurt or out for 3 games. We lost all 3 games. They're back. We win. Chase Young's back. You mentioned that there was somebody who you were like pinning all the losses on. And I'm going to guess, because this is someone I pin them on, if it's just a person and you're talking about a player, then I'm talking about Isaiah Oliver.
Right. No.
Steve Wilkes and his scheme of playing that stupid prevent defense. And now they switched it up to press man coverage. And not only that, but putting a lot of premier players in the middle of the pass rush, like Chase Young in the middle. I saw Bosa lining up in the middle over the guard in the A gap there, and just doing some more creative schemes on defense. That must be what you're trying. I'm coming down from the booth.
Yeah, what I meant really was the reason why we won yesterday is one guy and raised a wiki up, if that's his name. God nailed it. It's Debo, and it's not because of what he does with the ball. It's what he threatens to do with the ball. It's because his presence on the field and he's right. It makes the defense vanilla. They don't know what to do on that first drive. He was the motions that he was shifting, that when he was shifting in motion, you could see the defense were following him, because usually it does go to him when he's in the backfield. But he was that opened up holes for McCaffrey. It opened up the backfield for Kittle, and so I think Debo is probably our most important piece of the offense, because of not what he does with the ball, but what he threatens to do. That's just my take.
Yeah, I mean, I said all along that missing Trent Williams and Debo were big from a talent perspective,
and
an explosive play perspective. But really, they were really big for their sort of enforcer perspective, that they made our offense tough. There's no other tough guys on I shouldn't say no other. Kittle is tough too. But other than what's that?
McCaffrey's tough.
He's tough, but he's not big enough to run over people the way these other guys do.
No. You're right.
Yeah. So like Trent, Debo, and Kittle, like they dominate people. McCaffrey, I would say he, for his size, he does, but I think he relies a little more on quickness and elusiveness and full on trucking. But yeah, I mean, it's so huge to have all these guys back. Trent Williams, Debo, then Chase Young. I can't say he's back, right? But I can say he's on the 49ers for the first time. No, Isaiah Oliver. I shouldn't say none. He played a little bit, but I think he played like 3 snaps. It was mostly Ambry Thomas, and they on the boundary, and they moved Lenore into the nickel. And I hope that's how they leave it, because the defense looked as good as it's looked all season, at least as good as every game other than maybe the Steelers and Cowboys. And we all know the Steelers offense is anemic, so I don't really count that as much as the Cowboys, who are absolutely lighting it up lately. I think CeeDee Lamb just set a record, all-time NFL record, for 3 games in a row with 10 receptions and 150 plus yards in every single game.
Wow.
Never been done before. So congratulations to CeeDee Lamb. I would say congratulations to the Cowboys, but I hate them. But I do respect them, and I do respect any team that's playing well. And preseason I did have them and us in the NFC Championship game. So
yeah,
I would say now I'm leaning more Eagles, but there's still some time here to go in the season.
Yeah, and the red herring in regard to Steve Wilks coming down to the sideline, I thought that was really risky in regard to. So if he comes down and we lose, what does that make him look like? He comes down now. He's won. Now does that make Kyle Shanahan look like the guy that has made the move? So I think from a personnel perspective, I think it put him in a hard position. He's not a rah-rah guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back up into the booth, because all he had to do was what we talked about, I think, the last time we spoke, Ted, and that was we need some press man coverage. We can't use the soft zone, and he proved yesterday that with the press man, it didn't allow the quarterback to get his quick release, and so the pass rush was able to get to the quarterback. So it's just a perfect little storm there. And adding Chase Young was, I thought wasn't going to be a huge, as big as an effect as he did, as he was able to dominate, dominate, what he did on the field yesterday. But, I think he was quite creative, as you said, in the way that he used Bosa and Young, in the way that he put them in different positions, and, really messed with the off, with Trevor Lawrence's mind. So, yeah, it was just really nice to see some complimentary football being played once again by the Niners. And when we play complimentary football, that is when we win, and we win big.
Yeah, and I would just caution people, that are making sweeping assessments about Chase Young and everything to be a little cautious. In my preview article for this game, I identified the Jags O-line as a definite area of weakness for them, as well as Tank Bigsby, who was a fumbling threat. He didn't fumble in our game, but he did tip the ball to Huff for that interception. So just a good example of bad hands. So while, we had 5 sacks and the D-line went crazy, I'm pretty sure the Jags O-line was something like second to worst in the league. So it could be a little bit. Both can be true. The Niners D-line could be back, and the Jags O-line could be bad. But I just don't think it'll look quite as good against top O-lines, would be my caution for people getting really excited about it.
Yeah. Just going back to Bryant Culp, so Moody is 14 from 17. So I mean that's a great record, but he didn't put it over when we needed it.
Yeah, not against the Browns, unfortunately, for the win.
The Browns, that's who it was. It was the Browns.
Yeah. Purdy drove the length of the field after being largely ineffective through most of the game, and Purdy did his job. He got us in position, and Moody missed a 41-yarder.
Yeah.
Which isn't short, but it also isn't long. It's sort of in that mid-range.
No, it should be in with all the talk about the size of his leg, the size of his boot, and all the talk coming out of Michigan, with the head coach there, whose name escapes me. He used to coach us, so that's ridiculous that I can't think of his name right now. Harbaugh, saying that the what did he say? The 3 things in life that always come true is death, taxes, and Jake Moody kicking a field goal. So, it was a bit disappointing, but that's over and done with. I think. I haven't heard any of the injury update. Have you ever heard what the injury update was? I think there was none from the game. Anything that you heard?
I haven't heard any injury updates, but it's they're flying back, so I don't think
we'll fly back yesterday after the.
Maybe they did, but I don't think they have a practice today, do they? I think it's probably a rest day, and then they'll start up tomorrow.
Right.
Let me see if there is any kind of practice report.
That's right, Brian. You're right, Brian. Sorry, mate. I'm probably being harsh, but it's a professional sport. It is the NFL.
There you go. Daniel Berry says easy win. It was easy in the second half. The first half was a little touch and go, but 13-3 at the half, and getting the ball kickoff in the second half was definitely a good feeling. I had a good feeling about the game at that point. Switching to listening from the car. All right. Thanks, Jet. Drive safely.
When we are able to defer and be, as Lombardi loves to say, lap the other team, that is when we are in a very good position.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, it's what you try and do. You try to get the other team started, stuff them, end up with the ball before the end of the half, either get a field goal or a touchdown to end the half, but make sure that there's no time left on the clock for the other team, and then get the opening kickoff of the second half to then hopefully add 3 or 7 more points on top of that. It can really swing games.
Yeah, 100%.
Most teams tend to defer based off of that. And
so
worked out.
So what was your main takeaways from the game, Ted? Like, I've seen a bit of vitriol on the timeline in regard to your.
I was serving up receipts for people that were saying bad things about Purdy, and somebody said, "Oh, somebody is giving receipts after they bashed Purdy." And I'm like, I never freaking bashed Purdy. I bashed people that were, saying that he was Montana or Brady or Mahomes. The hyperbole, the ridiculous BS that people were spewing about him. That's what I bashed. I said fair things about him, and people are like, they take it as bashing. I'm like, if someone's stating facts and stats about your quarterback gets you triggered, then you're probably a biased homer, and so, there's this one guy who thinks I just argue with him for engagement. I'm like, actually, dude, haven't been going for engagement for since the 20th of October, maybe a little before that. But it was my wife and my anniversary. I didn't want any negativity, crossing over into our date night, and I just stayed off Twitter. And it's like, oh man, this is nice. I've been keeping a much lower profile on there. It's just, there's too many idiots. They say stupid stuff. Well, mostly what they do is they just lie. They're like, oh, well, Ted, you said Brock Purdy couldn't throw deep. I said, no, I said he hadn't thrown deep. You said that Trey Lance was him. I said, no, I said Trey Lance could be great, but we won't know until we see him.
Not yet.
And it's just like, they just misrepresent everything. And then I'm like, show me. And like, oh, well, you're not important enough for me to dig it up. Blah, 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 blah. It's just a bunch of crap, a bunch of liars, a bunch of people that misrepresent. And it's, I've gotten that rap as being a Purdy hater when I've liked him all along. I liked Purdy. I just liked Lance better. I liked both of our QBs. I just thought that we should see what we had in Lance before we ship him off. And folks, it still may come home to roost. If we ever have to count on Sam Darnold, I can tell you it's not going to be pretty. But hey, whatever. What are you going to do? I'm happy that Purdy's played well. But, Purdy's a front runner. I said he's not elite. He's not elite in the rain. He's not elite from behind. He's not elite without Trent and Debo. So he's not elite. We saw an elite quarterback at Levi's a couple weeks ago. Joe Burrow, that's an elite quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, that's an elite quarterback. People will argue about Josh Allen because he turns it over, but half of those things are arm punts where he's just launching it 50 yards on a 50-50 ball, and if they intercept, it's just like a punt. It's not like throwing an interception in the in the red zone or in your own red zone. He's launching over half the field, 60, 70 yards. It's not the same. It's not the same. But nobody cares. These people are box score scouts. They don't watch the game, or they don't understand what they watch, or they just listen to one person. Like, oh, Baldy said that Hargrave is not the same guy this year. And I'm like, yeah, he's not. Neither is Bosa. Neither is Armstead. Neither a whole freaking D-line, because Steve Wilkes had our secondary playing a freaking prevent defense. Off ball, like way off ball. And we had Isaiah Oliver, who was getting cooked left and right. All of a sudden, you get rid of Oliver, you get the backs up on the line of scrimmage. All of a sudden, our D-line has time to get home. Part of it is the Jags O-line. Part of it is Chase Young being there too. But the biggest part is the change in scheme, is getting those corners up there. So there's none of these easy throws underneath and just pitch and catch to where you're going to get 5-6 yards every single freaking time if you're patient enough to do it. And plenty of QBs were patient enough to pick us apart that way.
Yeah. And I thought the Jags responded well by throwing in some screens just to get their offense going. And I thought, that Wilkes adjusted to that as well. So, I think he's in and let's remember that what is it, game 9 with the team. It took Salah, it took D'Amico a little bit of time. So, things we're not a perfect team. We're not going to go 17-0. It's never going to happen. But, we need the fact that we were healthy, we played complementary football, and we got off to a flyer. That's how we win football games.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the best weapons in the NFL. We have a solid O-line when Trent Williams plays, and we've got a highly talented defense, if not number one D. It's just a lot of these. We have a lot of high-priced players, and let's face it, some of them were coasting.
Yeah.
And when they all decide to turn it on, that's what it looks like. It's impressive.
Yeah.
You can dog walk some teams, but if some of them are injured or some of them decide they're not going to give it their all that day, then there's no depth behind them, because we are now officially a top-heavy team the same way the Rams used to be right before they won the Super Bowl. So hopefully we're about to win ours. I don't know, because once you get that top-heavy, it's hard to sustain a team.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of have to go all in and make it happen.
So everyone was talking about the Jags being the team of the AFC, Trevor Lawrence finally living up to his reputation. What's your take on Trevor Lawrence? Is he as good? Is he, he turns the ball over way too much.
Yeah, I think he just had the unfortunate, mishap of coming up against the Niners when we were rested, healthy, and pissed off. That's a really bad combination for any team. I don't think he's quite as good as me and some other people may have been saying before this. I definitely was starting to get him towards that top 6, 7, maybe even creeping towards top 5 with Aaron Rodgers out. I think that's pretty clearly not the case. But I don't think he's as bad as he looked yesterday.
No.
I remember he played RD. If Purdy played our defense, he would have looked a lot worse than he did.
Yeah. And, the fact that Joe Burrow was beat yesterday as well. I mean, he was beat because his tight end dropped the pass, right? That was probably the biggest reason why those guys went down. But you can just see how open this league is with the Ravens getting beat. I personally think the biggest threat in the AFC is the Ravens.
I do too. I think the Ravens are really underrated. I think them losing to the Browns, I don't think means a lot when, PJ Walker was able to beat us with that Browns team. And this is Deshaun Watson, who's, an F-ton better than PJ Walker, let's be honest. Even if he's maybe not what he once was in his MVP form, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets back to it. I honestly didn't watch the game, so I'm not going to offer an opinion of what he looked like. But I saw him at the end. But
PJ Walker?
No, Deshaun Watson this last
Deshaun
Sunday
Watson
against the Ravens. After our game ended, it cut to their game, and I don't know. I think the Ravens have a really nasty defense. I think if they can just get some production out of their wide receivers, say Flowers, their highly drafted wide receiver, OBJ seems like he's cooked. They've been waiting forever for the other guy from Minnesota or somewhere up there in the Midwest. Hey, real quick, I want to say hi to Beto from Niner Sickness Podcast.
So Beto,
welcome. He's a big instigator, so don't be surprised if he starts saying some stuff that piss me off. He's very good at that. But it's all good, Beto. Appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the banter. It's in good nature. So
yeah,
he's been a big Purdy guy throughout the whole off season. So I will say he was pretty quiet in the last 3 games, though, Pedro. I really didn't see him popping. Beto, I didn't see him popping into the chats the last 3 games, but now that Purdy's won, here he is. Hey, he's back. Just like the talk of Purdy being elite is back. So it's funny how that works. But no, all good. Big fan of Beto. He's had me on most recently when he was doing a live cast of a game. We had some fun together, and make sure you check out his podcast, his YouTube channel. Give him a like and subscribe, folks. He's doing good stuff. He does cool stuff with his overlays. He uses a Mac, and his has like moving graphics on there, so it's not just stationary. Really cool stuff. And
so
he's
just going back to Purdy and his risk taking. So Shanahan in his presser said that was the worst, one of, I don't know if he said it was the worst or one of the worst decisions that on that first touchdown pass.
To Ayuk.
To Ayuk. One of the worst decisions he has made since being at the 49ers.
I'm telling you, he made two just like it against the Bengals, so it couldn't have been the worst. Like, he's doing it a lot now. And I'm telling you, and you know, he's getting away with it, so he's going to keep doing it till he gets burned. And fair enough. I mean, I guess you should have. He scored 2 TDs that way. The one against the Bengals was to CMC. I forget who the one. I think it was Kittle before that, and then CMC was the touchdown where he ran right and threw back left.
Yeah,
but I think. Okay, so I will say the one to Ayuk is worse because he's running left and throwing back right, and as right-handed quarterback, you have almost no zip on the ball. So that is worse. And also just how crowded it was in that end zone. There were like at least 3 Jags defenders there, if I recall correctly, that could have intercepted or deflected the ball. So,
so asking you, and then I'll give you my answer. What would you prefer for him to do then? Would you prefer him to take the sack, take the run, throw the ball?
I would have to watch it again. I don't think the run was open. So, I mean, you throw the ball away, I think is the smart thing to do. I don't want to see him running more than he has to, even if unless it's wide open. Take the TD. But, typically throw the ball away would be my answer.
I think what makes since he beat us and probably won't make the playoffs, I think what makes Purdy is those sort of decisions. And you saw in I think it was in the third quarter, Ted, that he was doing kind of this. He was going to do the same thing, but he pulled it in and got tackled. Did you notice that?
I didn't. No.
Okay, and Debo was open. I don't know if he would have got it over the linebacker's head or hand, but I guess I'm oscillating between what. But I like Brock because he takes risks in that regard, and that shows me that he's a ballsy guy. But then, if he had thrown an interception on that TD pass, that probably would have changed the whole game. Do we win the game if that isn't intercepted?
Hard to say because that first half was a lot closer than the second half, and that was with us scoring a TD. And so what if it was a pick six? If it was a pick six, that could have changed everything. I don't know. I still think we would have gutted it out, but it would have been a lot scarier than it ended up being. Real quick, just want to call out Corey Davis in the house. He has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. He says, hello, my 49ers family. I hope all of you are having a wonderful Victory Monday. We are better now that you're here. Thank you. Jason Niners Smash Massey of Niners Faithful Radio saying Talofa Faithful. I believe that's Hello Faithful. And he was scolding me for going out with 49ers cast. But he's like, why do you deal with that loser? And I was just like, because he said something like, oh, I love Brock, but it should be Jimmy, And I was just like, and this is recently too. And so I saved it, of course. And then, of course, as soon as Brock has a good game, I pulled out the receipt and nailed him with it. And then people try and go personal, pull up other stuff or talk about my YouTube channel or whatever their way of trying to get at me is. But that guy is awful. All that guy 49ers Cast does is lie. And then he pays for YouTube subs. He pays for people that follow him on Instagram. I'm sure he does on Twitter X as well too.
I don't know who this guy is. I think I've heard of him, but
he's terrible. Wesley, I forget the rest of his name, or Van Wesley or something like that. The guy is a creep and a weirdo. But welcome, Jason. Thanks for coming, and thanks for trying to watch out for me there. I appreciate it. But certain things I just can't stay away from, and that's one of them. People that are like Jimmy fans, and then they pretend to be Brock fans. I'm like, you're lying. You're such a liar. Also, you brought up Pedro. I gotta circle back. An interesting word, oscillate. It's a it's a word that you see on fans where the fan turns back and forth. It's oscillating, but it reminds me of our buddy. I'm sad he's not here. Silly Fun Guy, who is the Rams fan who likes to tell dad jokes, and this is even better for you because I want to say the animal in this reference is like Australian. Is an ocelot an Australian animal?
An ocelot. Isn't an ocelot a cat?
I think it is. It's like a type of cat. And the joke is, how do you titillate an ocelot? You oscillate. It's titillot. It's terrible. So my apologies to anybody there, but I had to do it. When you said oscillate, I was like, oh, it just reminded me of a terrible joke, dad joke. But let's see here. So yeah,
I'm just on my research for the show. I just found a couple of little tweets that, and this is about Purdy. This one was from Akash
Abernathan.
You're very good at the pronunciations, Ted.
Well, I was a technical recruiter in a former life, so.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, very good. So Purdy on throws of 20-plus air yards on Sunday, 6 of 6, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Had a perfect 158.3 rating on these throws and also a PFF grade of 98.5, pushing the ball down the field. But here's the other one. 13 quarterbacks have thrown the ball for at least 2,200 yards this season. The only one who's done it with less than 300 pass attempts is Brock Purdy, 250. Purdy leads the NFL with 9.3 yards per attempt. The next closest is Tua at 8.5. It's been good. Like,
stats are there.
The
stats are there.
The stats are there, right?
But like, people are like, oh, well, Purdy's leading the league in completion percentage, Ted. He must be elite. And I go, well, okay. Did you say that about Tua when he was leading the league in completion percentage? And they're like, some guys like, what, 2 weeks? I'm like, what is this, 1 week? Like, what the hell are we doing here? Like, completion percentage, a lot of it has to do with scheme. Yeah, I mean, Jimmy had a high completion percentage for us too. He was like 103.5 when he had CMC. Now, granted, 109 is quite a bit higher, and Brock's playing better than he was last year. There's no doubt about it. End of the Giants, Cards, Cowboys, and Jags game, these 3.3 games, some of the best I've seen young Brock Purdy play. I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. He's doing well. I might be a little bit too, I don't know, mean on my rating of Purdy saying 8 to 12, but the one I've been looking for, I do mine first, and then I go to look for, of all people, Kurt Bankert has been doing QB rankings, and his have always been within my range. And he is the former backup for the Packers, but he also spent some time with us this last off season.
I like Kurt.
He's a real smart guy. He does good shows. It's fun to watch, and he's very intelligent. Not that I am, but luckily he agrees with me, so I'll take some credit. But it doesn't look like he's done his yet for this week. Maybe he's waiting till after tonight. Probably get it tomorrow. But I'll be curious to see if he's a lot higher than 8 to 12. I'm gonna guess that he isn't higher than 7. I'll say he might be 1 higher than my highest. But I'd be shocked if Kurt Bankert is above 7 for Purdy tomorrow.
But what you say is right in regard. You got to take into consideration the scheme, the coach, the weapons. It's a team sport. He's not throwing like as we saw when he didn't have his weapons, he wasn't as effective. So it's all. I was going to say it's all tangible, but that doesn't make sense. It all has to. It's a combination of variables that make him the player that he is, and he's the perfect quarterback for Shanahan, and I really like him, and I think he's going to do the job for us going forward.
I like him. I'll tell you one of my concerns I've had with him, and it came up yesterday. Batted balls. Weren't there at least 2 or 3 batted balls?
Yeah, there was that, and that happens with him because he's short.
He's short. Yeah, exactly. David McNiner in the house says, "What's good, Ted and Pete? Let's LFG Niners. Let's F and go. Victory Monday. Thanks. And make sure you check out David McNiner's channel. He has a YouTube channel as well too. Doing great stuff there. We've got Steve-O's Customs in the house. If you need custom sneaks, hit him up. This is different than Steve-O. Yeah. If you see him in his avatar. And for the longest time, a lot of us thought there was Steve-O Supremo, who has like 85 million accounts. We thought this was another one, but this is a totally different Steve-O. So we like them both. They're both good guys for sure.
I'm a big Air Max man. I like the ones. I designed these on Night by You. Steve-O, I designed these. I mean, you mightn't, I don't know if you think they're good or not, but I really like those. And also,
you work for Nike?
No, I don't work for Nike. I just love Nike. I'm just an Air Max man, and these are the other ones.
Oh, wow. Those are clean. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick. Oh, go ahead. If you had something you were going to say, I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, sorry. What? Now you say it.
Oh, well, I was just saying, it's just funny. I remember I said I hadn't seen Beto in the 3-game losing streak. There's someone else I haven't seen during the 3-game losing streak, but here he is, 187. Bang, bang, Niner gang. What's up, 187? Welcome back. We missed you. Just funny. I was, usually a lot of times he'll give us a BBPG for a Bang Bang Purdy gang. He's a huge Brock Purdy fan, and you must be feeling a lot better now that Purdy had a good game again. So welcome back.
Well, there are quite a few. I'm just looking at the timeline now.
Oh, he customs anything, not just sneaks.
Yeah, right.
Well, put some other ideas in there. Like, are you talking about T-shirts or what else would people do? Jerseys, hats. Do you do visors? Ooh, maybe I need to do a TED Talks ball bejeweled visor.
But there's a lot of
bling bling.
Niners content, Al Sacco. No, not Al Sacco. Who is saying it that pass to Kittle was the best of his career?
That was pretty crazy. I mean, that's what's in my profile pic on Twitter X. Him surrounded in the pocket, just even that thing up. And then for the first time ever on a banner, I didn't just do the catch, but then I did Kittle when he was kind of running with it and then basically walking into the end zone after because no one was even close enough to make him run in. So I had 3 pictures in my banner. I kind of did that last week in a different way, but usually with a catch, it's just one banner of the catch. And this time I did it a different way.
Brad
Who was watching. Oh, right on 187. I didn't mean to give you grief. I hope you're feeling better, and that's a good excuse. That's maybe if you get us a doctor. No, I'm just kidding. Just messing with you. But no, seriously, welcome back, and we did miss you, and hope all's well. And I'm happy that Purdy played well. I mean, because as everybody knows, like I jumped on the Purdy train after I kind of jumped on after the Cards game. I give the half-assed, apology or I was wrong or whatever. but I said no contenders, no pretenders. But after we played the Cowboys, I'm like, shoot, those are contenders, and he was great against them. And I did the full apology, and then we lost three. He lost 3 games, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's your fault, Ted. You jumped on the Purdy train, and he fell apart." It's like, can you start hating on him again? And I'm like, I never hated him. Never hated him. Always liked him. Just didn't like that I didn't like what I didn't like was that we chose him without ever totally seeing what Lance could do. That's all. I'm still always wonder what Lance could have done if he had played with CMC, and not just like week 1, but like, throughout the whole season. If by the end of the season he couldn't be better, I still have doubts in my mind. But if Purdy can play like he did, end of Giants, Cards, Cowboys, and Jags, then I don't think Trey was ever going to do that this season. I'll admit that.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think, you know what?
But I did think Trey would add a little more with his legs. So.
Yeah, he didn't have the experience. He didn't have the mindset. When you play that amount of games in college, that's, I think Trey came out too early, to be honest, in regard to, him coming to the draft. But just if we could just go to the O-line for a sec. So in terms of the pressures yesterday, I mean, the one glaring thing that we have to address, Ted, and it could lose us the Super Bowl if we get there. That's right tackle. But insane. So he allowed 4 pressures. He was blown up on one of them. The other person to allow 4 was Trent Williams. Feliciano was good. He allowed 1, but Brendel and Burford clean sheets.
That's good. I was saying last week, we of course didn't get to stream because I had my parent-teacher conference for my son last week, unfortunately. Fortunately, that was good. It was good to talk to the teacher, and we came up with some ideas on how to corral this little mother, but he's a handful. I was saying that I thought Feliciano might be better than Banks in the run game because Aaron Banks is not a great run blocker.
Yeah.
And I felt like Feliciano. So was the word on Feliciano pretty good from what you saw?
Yeah. That he had a good outing. He did his job. Obviously, he didn't have as many as snaps, but we keep on having. We keep up, this right tack. Like, and I don't know if you've been watching much of the Denver games, but McGlinchey's not doing any better over there. Like, what the hell were they doing? But he knew he had to go there to get the money that he was never going to get here.
$17.5 million. He got the bag and a half.
Yeah,
I thought he might be worth 12, 13, 14 mil, but not 17 and a half. It doesn't sound like he's even living up to that. Real quick, Randy in the house. He said Teddy and Pedro, but also he said Brock's simply the best. His fan section is called The Nest. Brock's flock is a thing. We even chant and sing. We all wear a sock on our caulks. Where's Turnall? Yeah, we need James Turnall. We need him from across the pond.
Yeah, where is he? Where is Turnall? What's going on?
I don't know. He may have found other folks to watch. I don't know. No, I'm sure he'll be around. I saw him last week some.
Is that what is his fan section really called The Nest, Randy?
Not he's just.
Are you just making that up?
He's just dropping bars.
Oh, okay.
I think. I mean, I don't know. So, oh man. So yeah, big win.
Yeah, big win.
Victory We're coming Monday. Up. Identity back on both sides. Just like I said, just a little guarded optimism with the D line.
Yeah.
Chase Young is a great addition, especially for what we gave up draft wise and cap space wise to get him. But remember, like, he was like 3rd or 4th on our hit list of guys we went after him for agency. We went after Surtain, we went after Sweat, and then him. And there might have been somebody else in there too, maybe Danielle Hunter, or I don't even know if the Vikings ever shopped him. But Anyway, bottom line, there was at least a couple other guys that we went out. Oh, Jalen Johnson from the Bears, I think, also.
Yeah.
Stood ahead of Chase Young. So I'm not trying to poo-poo him. I'm just trying to say, I don't know. I just had some Commanders fans come at me where I said that I had a show last week and I said we fleeced the Commanders and they're like, well, you can't fleece us if we didn't want him anymore. And I'm like, well, you didn't want Trent Williams anymore either. And and anyway, we kind of went back and forth in YouTube comments. I need to probably go back and follow up with them, pull my receipts. But I think there's some logic to that there. I mean, there was the reports that he was, I think they said these guys specifically also said like he was stat hunting rather than going for wins. And I'm like, well, when your team's not winning, what else are you supposed to do? Right. But it's a concern. It's something like it's in there. You should keep it in mind, keep an eye out for it, see if it plays out that way. But obviously game one was a smashing success. Hargrave and Bosa looked like, just like what we thought they would look like before the season started. Armstead too. I mean, I it's funny. I had my article and I replied to Grant after the game and I just said, basically like their O-line made our D-line look like 2019. And so I hope more O-lines do. I just hope that like the better O-lines, we look like that against them. We'll see. What else? Yeah, the Bears cornerback. Yeah, Jalen Johnson, one from Utah, I believe. He's really good. Would have loved to have got him, but I don't know how much we need him. If Ambry play, I mean, and here's Ambry, the much maligned, and he comes up with the big strip and he picks it up and would have been a flipping TD if half our freaking coaching staff or players, I forget who all it was, ran out onto the damn field.
It was sort of players that were inactive and Kyle.
Yeah, out on the field. Well, and then the worst part is the end of the play, Ambry runs in the end zone about 7 yards deep. Trevor Lawrence comes and backdoors him low and could have taken out his ankle or his knee.
Like what a dog act.
Yeah, it was dirty as hell.
Yeah.
It was so dirty. Wrong.
Yeah. Can we just, I want to look at 12, 13, 14. Week 12, 13, 14. Seattle, Philly, Seattle.
Yeah, that's their gauntlet.
Yeah. Me. Okay, so we've got Tampa Bay. I'm not worried about Tampa Bay, especially now that Baker Mayfield may have a broken thumb. I
didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're 4-5 anyway, right? I mean, so
yeah. So
I was never a big Bucs fan. There were people who had them in the top 10. I'm like, get the Bucs out, put the Bengals in. And I know the Bengals lost, and Bryant Culp said they're going to miss the playoffs. I disagree if Higgins and Chase can get healthy, because Jamar Chase was playing hurt. He hurt his back a game or two ago where he fell on that hard turf in Buffalo. And T. Higgins was out this last game where they lost to the end. And losing to the Texans is not such a bad thing anymore, folks. The Texans are a good team. CJ Stroud's legit. Tank Dell's legit. They got Jimmy Ward. They got that number 1 overall draft pick out of Bama, the defensive end. The team is, I'm not going to say they're a contender, but I think they could make the playoffs.
All right. Well, why don't we do what Randy has said here? Okay.
Yeah. So we got Bucs win. Seahawks in Seattle. I got that as a loss.
Okay. I got that as a win.
All right.
Eagles
I got that as a loss.
I got that as a loss.
Seahawks at Levi's. I'll be there. We're winning that game.
Okay. Cardinals win.
Yeah, although Kyler Murray's back, so not as much of a slam dunk as we thought, with just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Ravens, I've got loss.
That was my loss based on -20 rest days versus +9 rest days for the Ravens. I said that before the season started. I'm sticking with a loss.
And then we've got win-win. So you're saying that we're going to be
11-6, just like I predicted before the season.
11-6. I'm saying we're going to be 13-4.
And neither would. Oh wait. Oh, because you got the speeding Philly too.
Oh no, I don't. No, I'm 12-5.
Yeah, 12-5. That's and neither would shock me.
Yeah,
neither would shock me.
Yeah, that's my dog. Shush.
Blake Kirschman says, until someone takes out the Chiefs when it matters, it's hard for me not to say they're the team in the AFC with the lesser talent, even with lesser talent. Yeah, I mean, their defense is legit. The Chiefs D is scary good.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so's the Ravens D. So, and it's Lamar against Mahomes. I'll definitely take Lamar. Kelsey versus Andrews. That's more of a wash than you might think. I still take Kelsey. But then I just feel like Bateman and OBJ and Zay Flowers, I don't know if they can figure out anything at wide receiver. I don't really trust Mecole Hardman or the other guys that the Chiefs have. But I guess Chiefs running backs, I don't know. That's kind of – the Ravens had that guy who just was so fast against the Browns. I did see that early in the game.
He's so quick.
Yeah, ridiculous speed.
So 12-5. That doesn't give us the 1 seed.
Probably not. Not with the Eagles only having 1 loss so far.
Yeah. So they've had the bye this week. Anyway, so you're 11-6. I'm 12-5. So that's pretty quick. What's Randy say? Randy, what's your
Randy said we were losing to the Jags. So, Randy, what's up, dude? He did get the Browns, Vikings, and Bengals losses all right. But I said, like, he would be 4-0 and we'd be 0-4 if he was right. And I didn't think he'd be right on that one. So, we got you there, Randy. But, yeah, tell us your prediction, Randy. You don't have to go game by game. Just give us, you think 11-6, 12-4, 12-5, 13-4. What do you think? Dave McNiner says Faker Fairfield is faking it. He doesn't want to play our defense. Baker, you good?
Come on, Randy, because I gotta get up. 12-4.
Yeah, we gotta go here.
12-4. That's not right.
Oliver would have played great. Randy, no, you're wrong.
12-5, you mean? Not 12-4. We got an extra game there.
12-5, yeah, that's what he means.
Yeah.
Or he's just playing with us. Make us sweat at both.
The Eagle game is a tie. Woo.
I mean, I said it was 50-50 with the Eagles if Purdy stayed healthy, and so that would be a tie. Or I just said whoever had the ball last would win. But I've been saying that all along about that, because some people say, oh, if Purdy stayed healthy, would it beat the Eagles? I'm like, no, I did not know that. That was pretty far from it, man. How many teams in the AFC North make the playoffs? Ravens, Browns, and the Bengals? Ravens. I don't know if the Browns will still. I'm still not feeling the Browns.
No, I don't think.
Yeah, Ravens and Bengals. But
Ravens, Bengals,
Steelers and Browns just keep winning, though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We're gonna bang on Philly. Anyway, guys, we're running out of time.
I've got to jam.
Pedro, my boy here. Well, you know what? If you want to go, why don't I just stay on for a little bit and just get through these chats, and then.
All right, sounds good. That's good. That's a good idea. And
I'll let you go. So.
All right.
Thanks, Pedro. I'll see you next week, my friend.
Thanks, mate. Do you want to just take me out? Should I leave?
Sure, I can do it. There we go. And then switch to this. Oh, yeah, because I didn't also do my commercial for the day for a Travelstead group. So let me do that real quick, folks, and we'll get to the chats. My sponsor is there, TTG. They're up in the corner. It's the Travelstead group. They do retail and hospitality logistics. So they handle the details, transportation, warehousing for brick and mortar. They do FFE, which is fixed furniture and equipment. They do OSE, which is operating supplies and equipment. They do new store openings, rollouts, relocations, decommissions, from the first mile to the final mile and everywhere in between. Travelstead has you covered. Let them know how they can help you via air, ocean, or land. Closed loop solutions for retail and hospitality. Nick and Henry are the go-to folks there for TTG, and they're great guys. Also, they have 100% US based support. Logistics is complicated. There's always fine tuning, and knowing that when you call for support, you get somebody here in the States that understands what you do, not a call center overseas where they've got no clue. So thank you guys. And as far as the comments go, let's get through some of those because there were a bunch. I'd already skipped through some. People were saying hi. I love that Randy was still sticking with Oliver would have played great last night. I mean, I guess there's a first time for everything, Randy, but I'm going to say I don't think so. I've been saying all along we needed to get him out of there. And I felt like on our defense, there were four things that really helped our defense against the Jags. One was Steve Wilkes changed the scheme, and we weren't playing this off-man, basically prevent defense where we're giving up 5, 6, 7-yard passes as easy as pie. I think Oliver being out was a big one. I think Chase Young being in was a big one. And one that people may forget is Dre Greenlaw was really banged up. He got healthy, and he was playing like himself again yesterday. So those were my 4 keys to the D from yesterday. Everybody's just chatting. Let's see here. Bryant Culp says, Oliver, I heard, played left out. Oh, that's not nice. Let's see here. Dave McNiner says, we knew that Ambry Thomas was better than Oliver. Can't wait to see Womack attack back in game shape. Yeah, I mean, I think we all thought anyone was better than Isaiah Oliver, essentially. And we knew that Lenore was better than Oliver at nickel. It's just could Ambry hold it down at the boundary as Lenore shifted in. And Ambry did a good job yesterday. Let's hope he keeps it up. But if he doesn't, I would love to see Womack. Womack has speed. He's a ball hawk. There's a lot to love. I think he just needs to work on better run fit, better run stopping. And I think then we'll see more of him. Randy Oliver's the man. Wait for it. And wait for it. And wait for it. No, I'm just kidding. It's all good, Randy. I love that you're a man of your convictions. Stick to it. Stick to it. Maybe he'll prove you right. But boy, I was super happy that we made the move and got him off the field for the most part. He played 3 snaps, but that's not much. Purdy looks like the best QB, at least since Cap, if not Garcia. Yeah, Prime Cap. Yeah, and even Prime Cap wasn't as good of a QB. It's just Prime Cap had, the legs. He was able to run the ball so well. But yeah, Purdy seems like the best thrower of a football. Yeah, I'd say better than Alex Smith. I would say clearly better than Jimmy. So yeah, and yeah, Cap only maybe Prime Cap maybe wins because of the legs, but maybe not even that. So yeah, I like that. So at least since Garcia, I like that, Blake. Oliver hate is so unfair. Oh, you're all right. You're okay. We're gonna bang on Philly. Brock got some shit to prove to them. Yeah, I hope we bang on Philly. I really do. I just think that they're really good. I just think that, the strength of our D is our D line, and their O line is incredible. And probably still the best in football. Jalen Hurts is mobile. Both of those things hurt D-line centric defenses. They have great weapons. I don't think Hurts is. Somebody's trying to tell me that Hurts was elite. I don't have Hurts as elite because of those reasons, because they have great weapons, because they have a great O-line. But he's kind of in that borderline conversation, maybe a little bit. I have Lamar a little bit higher than Hurts. But they're in that 6-7 range, 8 range, somewhere in there. Bryant says, Ted, how many teams in the AFC? Oh, okay, we did that. I must have skipped ahead to that. Let me skip to the bottom and work my way up because I feel like I'm behind on the chat here. So we'll see. Dirty Jersey hits. Young made this team shift gears. It was great seeing him play in the middle and Bosa in the middle too. I loved seeing Steve Wilkes make that adjustment to more NASCAR type of arrangements, just things to trick the O-line and get them some favorable matchups. Oh, after the pick six, yes. I'm not sure about that. Oh, maybe he's saying Oliver's going to get a pick six. 5-0 Oliver thought CV wasn't starting for a reason. I think just people hadn't figured out how easy it was to pick on at that point. Randy Tone, I watched the interception play because the Iraqi vet for that. Okay, I've got to catch up to that one. That's insane. Should have been thrown out of the game for it. TL went right for his knee. Yeah, it was dirty, and there was not even a flag, let alone. Well, they're not going to throw Trevor Lawrence out of the game. Come on. But they should have at least flagged him. We were rested and injured and had Chase. How dare y'all ignore it? Yeah, no, those were all huge factors. Rested, Dre got healthy, pissed off. There was a lot of factors going on in the game for sure. I didn't see it. I'll go back and watch it. I'm not sure. TTG, let's go. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate the help. Got to pay those bills, folks. So it helps to pay attention to my sponsor. I forgot during the show because we were pressed for time. And so I wanted to at least get that ad in. Did you all see that? Yeah, we saw that Sentinel. We talked about it a little bit earlier. It was frustrating that there was no flag. I'll hold on to the offer cards. All right, Randy, you hold them, and if they go up, more power to you. You'll be rich. Yum Sizzler. Oh man, I haven't heard Sizzler in a while. They used to have a good all-you-can-eat salad bar though. The steaks weren't so hot, but all-you-can-eat salad bar was good. No, the steaks were fine. It's just not fancy. That's all. It's good, solid food. We're going to Sizzler. Oh yeah, was that like is that Anchorman? Who is that? What show is that from? Bryant says 14-3. I think that's a little aggressive, Bryant, but I love it. I hope you're right and I'm wrong. You can't praise Amber. He's got awful. He's playing with the rest of the team. Okay. All right. Buckeye bookends. Yeah. I said the OS reunion. Who was in the slot? Okay. So I'm caught up. Let's see here. I'll scoot to the bottom. Sentinel misses Sizzler. Yeah. It's reasonable, at least. It's so hard to find reasonably priced food in the Bay Area anymore. Randy, especially with a big family. Randy Turner says, okay, they're just saying hi. Ty Detmer. He's saying he was the best quarterback since Jeff Garcia. That's a good one, right? I like it. Good humor. Scissor buffet is legit. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The buffet, the salad bar, all that. Yeah, it was all you can eat, and you could just pile. And it was decent quality. It wasn't bad. I think they had some good soups too. This team was humming, and it wasn't about Oliver. Let's be real. Learn the difference between causation and correlation. It wasn't because Oliver was out. I was just saying it wasn't. I was reading it the way I thought of it, which it wasn't because of Oliver. I guess we'll see, Randy, over time. If we keep him out and the team falls apart, then we'll see. But I don't think we're going to be seeing much of him for a while. That's my prediction. That's my hope. I mean, and I hope that the team is smart enough to see that. I say JT O'Sullivan was Montana like in 08. No, he was a terrible quarterback, but he is a good analyst. I do like the QB school. Although he realized what a moneymaker Brock Purdy was, and he puts it all on Patreon now. He doesn't do them on YouTube anymore. So I'm a little bitter about that. But congratulations to JTO for being able to monetize on Patreon. That's always nice. Troy Smith was amazing. Shoo, you ain't just whistling Dixie there, Bryant. Ken Dorsey. Oh man, this is like the hit parade of terrible line of quarterbacks. Purdy made plays that Oxen with Cap and Jimmy never did. I personally believe Purdy makes gunslinger decisions, but executes them better than Jimmy did. I like that. I like that. Our linebackers are the X factor. Yeah. Dre Greenlaw and Fred are amazing. I mean, even Aziz is, I mean, he's not a Niner anymore, but he's doing really good things for the Titans as well. He thinks JTO is underrated. Hurts is the stuff that collects on the side of your mouth. Oh, am I getting some of that? I'm just messing. What do we used to call that? Smegma? Is that what we used to call it? I mean, that was somewhere else. I don't know. Anyway, dirty jersey. Okay, so we're caught up again. And we'll probably wrap things up before too long. I just felt like we were hurrying off because Pedro had to go. And I didn't want to leave you guys without getting to all the chats. Oh, Scott Tolzien. Oh, man. Hall of Fame. Where's his gold jacket? The GOAT is still Jim Druckenmiller. Oh, man. Except for there's no N in his name. It's Druckenmiller. But, yeah. Druck. Yikes. We already had our struggles in October. We didn't need shit schedule, no rest with injuries on top. But I thought it was supposed to be Brocktober, Randy. What happened? It was Brocktober, and not so much. Players and scheme were the reason we cannot execute this offense in October without Trent and Debo. Yeah, no, that's huge. Trent and Debo. It's not just their skill; it's their toughness. It's the bully factor that the two of them embody. And Kittle has a lot of it too, but I'd say Debo has more, especially for a wide receiver compared to, there are other tight ends that are closer to Kittle. So I haven't been to Harry's Hofbrauer in years. Are they still good for the price? Yeah. There's actually one still in Redwood City on the El Camino. I just drove by it recently, right there at Woodside Road. So it's just north of Woodside Road on the El Camino on the east side of El Camino. Still there, still kicking. Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend who taught me to get a turkey sandwich, and then you can get the beef au jus with the turkey sandwich, and it's like almost as good as the beef and healthier or whatever. But it sounds kind of weird maybe, but it's actually pretty good. Players and scheme are the reason we can. Oh, okay. I was going up. Here's Hofbrau. People just saying hi. Tolzien. All right. I think we're pretty much caught up then. Yeah, unless there's any burning desires, anything, I'll go through the last of these comments and then probably call it here. But Casey has a lot less people than no money. Interesting. I said Brocktober. Sweet. That one used to go as a kid. Need to go back. Okay, the hair's off, bro. Yeah. There's still one there in Redwood City. Casey. Okay. Oh, where QBs used to retire after playing for the Niners. Yeah, absolutely. It was Montana, Bono, Druckenmiller, and then Alex Smith. Don't forget Alex Smith. So yeah, that's at least 4. And I feel like there was even more than that I may be forgetting. But I had a KC, a Chiefs O lineman on my show, and I'm blanking on his name right now. It's killing me. Joe Valerio, who played tackle for the Chiefs. And I had him on preseason or during the off season because he played tackle, but he owns the NFL record for the most tackle eligible tackle tight end catches. He has 4. And I think he caught 3 from Joe Montana and 1 from Steve Bono. And I was like, what a perfect guy to have on this offseason because we need a tight end and we need a right tackle. Of course, we didn't draft either. I guess we did draft 2 tight ends, but none that were any good. Not the one I wanted. I wanted Darnell Washington. But, he was a big fan, obviously, of Sam Laporta and Michael Mayer. and maybe Darnell Washington. I don't think so. I don't think he liked Darnell Washington the way I did. But anyway, good guest. Anybody, any creators who want to have a cool KC Chiefs ex-player on, and very knowledgeable, well-spoken, and we talked about great tight ends. He even mentioned Kittle first. And I'm like, oh, is there a reason for that? He's like, yeah, because you're a Niners creator. I'm like, oh, I thought maybe you thought Kittle was better, but of course not. Anyway, I was griefing him, and he's a good sport and a good guy. So, Joe Valerio. AFC and NFC early playoffs prediction. Well, I mean, NFC, we got Eagles, Niners, Lions, and then out of the South, I guess it's the Saints. I don't know. It's the South is terrible. Yeah, I've been saying Saints all season. I'll stick with the Saints. Then Cowboys, and then as a wild card, I guess at this point, it's looking like. And then I was gonna say the Vikings, but I just don't see how they can do it with Josh Dobbs. Is Josh Dobbs? I guess I'll stick with the Vikings and Seahawks, of course. And will the Niners win the division, or will Seahawks? I think there's some legitimate question about that now. If we keep playing like we did yesterday, we got that. No problem. But if we play like the 3 games before it, I would probably pick the Seahawks. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. For the AFC, obviously Chiefs. Then it gets really tough. Bills and Dolphins, I guess the Dolphins will win the East. I still think somehow the Bills will. The problem with the Bills is they just had so many injuries. They lost Tre'Davious White. They lost Matt Milano. They lost Daquan Jones. I think they lost another corner as well. Right in the mic. Sorry, guys. I think Kyer Elam as well. So it's tough. I think out of the North, I like the Bengals and the Ravens, not in that order. Ravens to win the division, Bengals wild card. I don't believe in the Browns or the Steelers. And then what else we got left? Let's see here. Brian's got this. Texans, yeah, I think the Texans could get in, Randy. Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I'd say Ravens, Bengals, I guess Dolphins, Texans, Chiefs, and then maybe one of those two, maybe the Browns or the Steelers will get in. I don't think both will, oddly enough. Saints are the only one I don't know. Yeah, Saints are not playing great, but I mean the Falcons just lost to the Cards. So, and the Bucs, like I said, Baker's got a broken thumb or whatever he's got, broken P word, and they're playing us, and I think we're going to roll them at Levi's. So I hope so. I'll be there. Anyway, I think that's probably a good point to wrap things up. South is up for grabs. Yeah, I'd say both Souths are. But I think the Texans will win the AFC South. Ravens, Bills, KC Jags. Yeah, something like that. I don't know about the Browns, but My son's popping in. It's a good cue for me to get going. Just say thank you, everyone who joined today. Appreciate it. Sorry about my voice. I got triple vaxxed on Thursday, and I may have come down with my wife's cold as well by Friday, and so I've been kind of wiped out all weekend. But it was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody being here. I'll just say peace and go Niners. Love you too, buddy.